What up, Chooms? First and foremost, thank you for joining us for this exciting first episode of Lore Underground, your digital archive of video game lore and more. For this first episode, I thought, why not kick things off with one of my all-time favorite video game franchises, the gritty world of Cyberpunk 2077. Neon lights, chrome arms, dreams sold by the megabyte, welcome to Night City, the glittering jewel of the future, and the most dangerous place on Earth. Here, you can get anything if you've got the eddies, the guts, and the iron in your veins. But this place didn't just spring up out of nowhere. Every flickering neon sign is lit by a century of blood, greed, and betrayal. So buckle up, Choom. We're about to take a ride through the history of the Cyberpunk universe, the rise, the fall, and the endless hustle of the dark future. Back in the late 20th century, our world and the Cyberpunk world were still the same. Same music, same politics, same obsession with making a quick buck. The difference? Over there, technology started sprinting ahead while ethics stayed in the dust. And the corporations, they figured out something dangerous. They could own the future, and no one could stop them. In the 80s and 90s, names like Arasaka, Militech, Euro Business Machines, and Petrochem went from being companies to empires. They didn't just sell you products, they owned the factories, the shipping routes, the governments. If you worked for them, you belonged to them. And if you left, well, let's just say they didn't give farewell parties. The first real taste of corporate war hit in 1990, when IBM and Orbital Air fought over transport routes. What started as boardroom negotiations turned into sabotage, assassinations, and battles between private armies. Wall Street stopped being a metaphor. It became a battlefield. You can't understand Cyberpunk without understanding the collapse. The early 2000s weren't a decade, they were a disaster reel playing on repeat. The global economy imploded, farmland turned to dust, food shortages sparked riots, refugees swarmed what cities were left. Governments, too broke and too corrupt to keep control, crumbled. Into the power vacuum stepped the corporations, not as saviors, but as landlords who knew exactly how to charge rent on survival. In the middle of all this chaos, a man named Richard Knight had a vision. He wanted to build a corporate utopia, a city free of taxes, unions, or political headaches. The megacorps loved the idea. Funded by Arasaka, IBM, and Petrochem, construction began in Northern California. They called it Night City. But utopias don't last. In 1998, Richard Knight was found dead in his luxury penthouse, shot. No suspects caught. No one shocked. With him gone, the city slipped into the hands of the corporations and the gangs. And while Night City was getting blood on its brand new streets, the second corporate war broke out. From 2004 to 2006, Militech and Arasaka fought proxy battles in Central America, carving up resources like a corporate buffet. There was no winner, just more proof that corps played for keeps. The corporate war era.
By the 2010s, war wasn't a failure of business, it was part of the business plan.
The third corporate war was short, fought over who controlled the satellites orbiting the planet. It marked the moment humanity militarized space for real. Meanwhile, a new kind of warrior emerged, the netrunner. Hackers who could jack directly into the net, diving into corporate systems to steal, sabotage, and rewrite reality in code. Among them, one name stood above the rest: Rashay Bartmoss, the mad genius who turned the net into his playground. Then came the fourth corporate war, the big one. It started with two shipping companies hiring their favorite megacorps, Arasaka and Militech, for security. What followed was global chaos. Cities saw sabotage, banks lost entire data vaults, and corporate navies fought pitched battles at sea. And then Bartmoss decided to light the fuse. His virus shattered the net into dangerous, isolated fortresses guarded by killer ICE programs. It was the end of the open web. In Night City, things came to a head. Militech-backed forces stormed Arasaka Tower, and a mini-nuke went off in the middle of the city. Hundreds of thousands were killed instantly. The downtown core became a radioactive ruin. Arasaka was crippled but not destroyed. Militech walked away bruised but breathing. And Night City, officially, became an independent, free city. In reality, still a corporate playground.
So, you've survived the collapse, dodged the corporate wars, and made it to Night City. Congratulations. Now, try not to die here.
Cyberware is everywhere. Ocular implants, neural processors, full cyber limbs. But every upgrade comes with a risk, cyberpsychosis, where the human mind simply can't keep up with the chrome, and you lose yourself to violent madness. The net is no longer a global frontier. Post-Bartmoss, it's fractured into local grids policed by Netwatch. Beyond those walls lurk rogue AIs and data phantoms hungry for careless netrunners. The streets belong to the gangs. Maelstrom, chrome-obsessed and unhinged. Valentino's, community pride with a side of organized crime. Tiger Claws, neon-lit Yakuza muscle. Animals, combat-drugged brawlers. Voodoo boys, digital shamans, probing into forbidden parts of the net. The 6th Street. Born out of the chaos after the Fourth Corporate War, 6th Street started as a group of ex-US military vets who swore to protect their neighborhood in Santo Domingo. The Mocs. They operate out of Lizzie's bar in Kabuki and are fiercely protective of sex workers, street performers, and anyone living on the city's fringes. Oh, and shout out to our nomad family in the Badlands, the Aldecaldos. From humble beginnings as migrant workers and displaced families, led by Juan Aldecaldo, to a massive, tight-knit network roaming the Badlands. Finally, the Wraiths, the nightmare side of the nomad life, a brutal, lawless pack that stalks the Badlands like hyenas.
Hey, quick break. Please remember to subscribe and hit that like button. Now, back to the lore.
In the middle of it all, you've got the fixers, the brokers, the middlemen who hand out jobs to mercs like candy, if your reputation's good enough. Burn one, and you're done. If you're lucky, your name gets remembered at the Afterlife, the city's most famous merc bar. They don't just serve drinks, they serve legends. Get a cocktail named after you there, and you've made it, though it usually means you're already dead.
The Titans of 2077.
You can't tell this story without naming the giants, still casting shadows over 2077. Arasaka, a Japanese corporate dynasty with roots in security, banking, and assassination. Ruthless, secretive, obsessed with power. Militech, the American war machine, selling guns, tanks, and armies to whoever's paying. Kangtao, a Chinese up-and-comer, flooding the market with smart weapons. Biotechnica, monopolizing synthetic agriculture, controlling what's left of the food supply. Petrochem, the synthetic fuel empire keeping the world's engines running. And Zetatech, the bleeding edge of cyberware and AI development. These aren't just companies, they're empires. And in Night City, they're gods. The Cyberpunk 2077 setting. By 2077, Night City is a powder keg. The corps rule the skyline, the gangs rule the streets, and everyone else just trying to make it to the next morning. This is where V's story begins. A mercenary climbing the ladder, chasing a score big enough to rewrite their life. The job? Steal a prototype biochip from Arasaka. The catch? Inside that chip is the digital ghost of Johnny Silverhand, terrorist, rock legend, and the guy who once tried to blow up the same company. Now 2 minds are trapped in one body, and time's running out before one erases the other. The warning of Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was never meant to predict the future. It's a warning about greed without limits, about tech without conscience, about what happens when power walks away from the people it was meant to serve. In Night City, legends aren't born, they're built, and then they're burned. The only question is, how much are you willing to pay for your shot at the top, Choom? Thank you for embarking on this journey with us. We humbly ask that you like this video and hit the subscribe button. It's free for you and means the world to us. Welcome to the Lore Underground family.